Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
On this edition of Minnesota Original, Grammy Award winner Dan Wilson reveals his songwriting process. Children's book author and illustrator Nancy Carlson encourages kids to use their imaginations. And director and choreographer Joe Chvala defines percussive dance. These artists and more now on Minnesota Original.
Even if I'm accepting a Grammy, it doesn't feel like I'm Stevie Wonder or Seal or whoever else is really impressive, you know? It doesn't feel like I'm that person. I feel just like Dan, because I'm from Minnesota. The whole culture of being where I'm from is like, you're not really that, you know? You're just pretending to be that. So I think that's partly like the psychology of it. But also, I just have a slightly hard time telling people just how great I want to make my music. I don't want to mess around. I've made a lot of albums with various groups, Semisonic and Trip Shakespeare. My latest, Free Life, it's a solo record, except there were about 30 different people playing instruments on it, which was actually really fun and great for me. But I decided on the new batch of songs I'm recording, I'm going to try to play all the instruments myself. The way that songs usually start for me is musical thought, like chords or a rhythmic idea. And then I just quickly run to a piano or a guitar and play that idea. The next thing that happens is often maybe a few lines of lyrics, like 4 lines of lyrics. You want me when it's easy to do. So what I'll do is I'll quickly grab this business guy memo device, which is usually for sell 1 million shares of AT&T or something like that. But I use it to just quickly record pieces of music. When it suits you to, that's a little different. I originally sang "You Want Me When It Suits You To" for the second line, but when I wrote it down, I wrote "When It's Easy to Do." "Suits you to" is an odd phrase. I thought "easy to do" sounded better. If I get excited about it, I'll write some more lyrics. I'll get out my lyric book and I'll try to write some more lyrics to it. So at this point, I'm looking for another piece for the song, another section or another idea, and so that's and to do that, I probably need to switch to a different instrument than I originally wrote it on because it's too easy and familiar. But going to the guitar kind of helps because it's harder to play. So says me, and I kind of translate into guitar language. And then I had those new lyrics there on the sheet. So I've been keeping it convenient for you to keep close to me. I've been holding on and dreaming on, but you only come around to me when it pleases you. My little pride and joy drum beat. It's been interesting having me as a drummer because I'm not that good, and I've always had really good drummers to work with, and it's almost as though I'm playing in a band with an okay drummer. Dan the drummer is like the soulful part of the band, whereas Dan the piano player is like irritated, and Dan the piano player doesn't really make mistakes. But it's good to have Dan the drummer in the band because it keeps things kind of a little dumber and looser than they would have been. I tried a couple different drum beats, got things to the point where they sounded kind of wild and loose. And then I had this idea that broke my one-man band rule. I wanted to have a horn section. Awesome. And I have a friend who plays all the horns in the band. Just got them. I had sent him one of my little memos of me going, ba-da, do-do-do-do-do. And he just used all those ideas in his version, but he turned them into like righteous sounding horns. So that fits into the song like this. Late at night, when the stars come out, I walk the roadside to see them turning round. If you watch them, that's that. Amazing. Broken my rule. I didn't play those horns. Somebody else did, but he is a one-man horn band, so it's all kind of okay. So in the shower today, I had this idea of trying a kind of Beach Boys type of background harmony on this song. Something like that. Okay, let's do that again. Double it. Oh. I think it's fun. I think it sounds exactly the way it did when I imagined it in the shower.
That's great. Great ideas do happen in the shower.
You can put on a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and you can scrape it all off and start again. And by the end, only the things that really create dynamics, hopefully, are remaining. You love me when it pleases you. And then, the best part of all is taking a recording of a song into my car and driving around listening to it. That's the absolute high point. I think of you at the strangest time. I think part of what artists do is pretending. If I finish a track and it sounds really great, and I take it out to my car and listen to it in the car, I can pretend to be a recording artist. You know, I'm pretending to be somebody who deserves a place with Michael Stipe and Paul McCartney and Joni Mitchell. If I pretend hard enough and well enough, something really great is going to happen. When it pleases you.
It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. So when it's treated, we get tricked. Steady kisses, we get kicked. It's a hard knock life. Got no folks to speak of, so
Every single day of the week, I post a doodle on my website. When you're allowed to draw anything that pops into your head, it's amazing what pops into your head. Well, I got obsessed with Justin Bieber this year. So he's in a lot of my doodles. And then I've got, of course, your Justin Bieber reptile hairdos. Oh, here's the monkey. Don't let the monkey in, even if he has a cute little blue robot with him. Hockey player monkey. Did this during the state tournament. This is a carrot who thinks he's cool. Well, when I was in kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher asked me what I wanted to be, and I said, an artist. And I've never strayed from that. I'm Nancy Carlson, and I'm an author and illustrator of picture books. And I have 61 published books. And out of that 61, I would say 50 maybe are written and illustrated by me, and then the rest are just illustrated by me.
Wake up in the morning, glue a smile on my face. This broken world expects me to keep up its pace.
I grew up in Edina, Minnesota. I think my childhood was really idyllic because I didn't have any worries. And we had so much free time to create. And both my sister and I became really good drawers because we did it so much. My education was, first of all, I went to UMD for 1 year. I then got into the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, where I graduated with a degree in printmaking. Then I assumed I'd be the most famous artist in the world, and I wasn't. Well, my very first character was Harriet, and Harriet is taken after my dog at that time. She was a golden retriever, and I would sketch her a lot because she slept under my drawing table. And then I one day sketched her in a ballet costume, and that led to my first book, Harriet's Recital.
You might have thought your pride would get you through. You might have thought she was easy prey.
Harriet's personality is a little bit of me. I mean, actually a lot of me. Since she's my first character, how do you come up with a character idea? How do you give them personality? Well, you go with what you know. So a lot of her experience happened to me. In the beginning of my career, my editor gave me some great advice. She said, you need a series of books. You need real estate on the shelf of the bookstore. I was happy to do one book, but I did 5 books, Harriet books, the first year. Second year, I did 5 Loudmouth George. Year 3, I did 5 Luann the Pigs. And it was at this point I had shelf space. All of my stories, they are learning a simple lesson, and I think the overlying theme is we're not perfect. My characters aren't perfect, my readers aren't perfect, but it's okay. We all make mistakes and we learn from them. What I like about my drawing is my imagination. I don't think I'm the world's best drawer by any means. My students are like, some of them are a lot better drawers than I am, but I do have a really good imagination. I've been working on this concept of sometimes you just need a cookie for about 10 years. I don't know, I can't stop because I really, really like cookies. I know it's odd, but I just do. So somehow I'm gonna make this book work. Picture books are hard because you only have, the total amount of pages in a book is 32. So that doesn't leave you a whole lot of pages to tell a story. When I first wrote Harriet's Recital, it was 80 pages long. It has to move really quick. You need to bring your audience in, and you also need your art to go to the left so my little audience turns the page. I have a hard time drawing to this side. Everything leans to the left in my art because I've been doing picture books for so long. It's a good trick.
We are so lucky to have Nancy Carlson. So let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. When I'm at a school visit, my talks are just really fun and the kids are fantastic, so I don't have a lot of surprises. But when I get to the school, well, first of all, I talk about imagination. That's, I guess, my focus of my talk is to really celebrate that, and that's how I get my ideas. Now, somebody look at this and tell me what's wrong with Harriet.
Her tail.
You got it. Her tail is missing. Sticks out right here. Our goal is to get the kids to read and to learn how stories work. And what's really cute is that they'll come up, first of all, the younger ones call me an Arthur rather than an author. And then here's what else the younger ones say, which I absolutely love. When I ask them what an illustrator is, 90% of the time, and this is kindergartners, they'll say, you're the person that writes the pictures. Because for them, the picture's telling the story. They don't read yet. So I love that they understand that concept. When they're drawing my characters and they come up to me after and they go, I'm gonna be an Arthur just like you. You melt, you know. It's great, it's fun. It's a really fun job.
Let's have you come in. Can we go back and just time their entrance? I think you've got to come in from off stage because it is distracting to have you there. Heaven is a show that takes place during the Bosnian War.
That was great.
It is a show about an American reporter and his journey through war-torn Bosnia. If you turn it around like this, then it opens this way, and then when Natalie turns it back, it'll open into the house. This is the 11th hour, and we are working really hard to be ready for tonight because we have an audience tonight. I'm Joe Chvala, and I'm the artistic director of the Flying Foot Forum. I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin. I lived in New York for 7 years, and then I lived in Gothenburg, Sweden for a number of years. When I moved to Sweden, I started teaching dance and theater at a performing arts academy in Gothenburg, Sweden. I do a lot of work directing and choreographing for various companies. I've been a performer, I've sung with choirs, I've danced with companies. I've pretty much performed every role that you can in a company. I'm the artistic director of the Flying Foot Forum, which is a percussive dance theater company. Percussive dance, in the case of the Flying Foot Forum, has a really wide definition. I think most people think of it as tap dance, clogging, step dance, ham bone, various forms of folk dance that use percussive dance. And anything is really fair game for instrumentation for the Flying Foot Forum, and we love to do things where we are actually playing instruments while we're dancing and possibly singing and possibly reciting verse. We've worked with, pots and pans and brushes. But as often as we can, we try to incorporate the musicians and the instruments into the work. Y'all want to see Carla Grotting, my long-time collaborator and artistic associate, Flying Foot Forum. So here we are, 20 years later. Really, most folk dance traditions, if you dig deep enough, have some sort of percussive dance. But it's basically dance that makes percussive music while you are dancing. And so it's a combined form of music and dance.
Johnson is no good. We saw three second up for fire. The fact is we all three saw. For I saw him, and he saw me, and he saw, I saw, he saw.
So I like the idea of working with verse and with nonsense verse because then it becomes a form of percussion. I Saw Esau is a piece that came out of a whole evening called the Percussion Project. I had this book of nonsense poems, and I tried to pick the creepiest ones I could find because a lot of them are pretty creepy. And so I got I Saw Esau kissing Kate. The fact is we all three saw, because I saw him and he saw me and she saw I Saw Esau. Hard to do it out of context, but that's the least creepy of the ones that we use.
Johnson is no good. Chop him up for Drink it into gingerbread. Let them meet, damn the skin. Open the mouth, cram it in. Let them meet, damn the skin. Open the mouth, cram it in.
So then we decided we wanted to have a sort of a dark look for it as well. So we got the frock coats and the white scarves and put all the music in a minor key and use the verses to sort of inform that too. When I started the company, I always thought about there were a lot of percussive dance companies that were starting up, like Stomp and River Dance. But there were a lot of people that were doing this all at the same time without knowing it. And I think it was because there was this sort of feeling back then, and I think there still is, that we need to connect more with the earth and make some kind of really strong connection. And I think that rhythm gives us that strong connection as we get more and more detached from the natural world and our own human nature. I think we feel a need to connect more with that, and I think pulse and rhythm really helps with that.
Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.